Good day, Strategy Gamers, and welcome back to episode 64 of our Let's Play series, Stalingrad to Berlin, War in the East 2. We are now in turn 34, beginning of July 1943. We are well ahead of schedule to have a victory here in this scenario, and I think we're going to continue having a lot of fun as we see how quickly can we race to Berlin and end the war. So now the pressure's on to see how quickly can we get the victory. A quick housekeeping note to begin the episode with. Yesterday, you will have seen that the channel added a new Let's Play series for Gary Grigsby's War in the West. And in that Let's Play series, we are playing as the Allies in the 4th Supreme Command scenario, starting in 1943 with the invasion of Sicily. So come hop on over there if you have an interest in the Gary Grigsby series or want to learn a little bit more about War in the West, or if you just take pity on me and want to give me similar advice in War in the West to improve my game. No matter the cause, I appreciate your support as always, guys. I really do. Really looking forward to seeing how that one develops. It is a lot is similar between the two games, but I find that the difference in the theaters really makes it quite a contrast to, say, War in the East. And then, as promised earlier when we started the channel, we'll also be touching on Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific, but we'll step into this gradually and easily. That is a huge game to learn, let alone master. And doing a Let's Play series of Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific, if you see it through to the end, you're devoting years to seeing it through, because each day equals one turn, and if you get through a whole turn in one episode, that's pretty impressive. So there's quite a bit of content in that game, but we'll give that one a shot too. First, though, we're going to continue with our Let's Play series of War in the East 2 and our new War in the West series. So looking forward to that adventure with you guys. So go check it out if you have a chance or if you're interested. Now back to this scenario. We have effectively cut off Army Group North, if you recall from the previous turns, which is just fantastic news. We now have them on the run as we're rushing towards Königsberg, former Poland, etc. And in the south, we're having similar success after pushing from Odessa and north of Crimea. So all in all, we are just ahead of schedule and really having a good time here. In between the episodes, or excuse me, in between the turns, the Axis did manage to actually break through our line here. If we look at the battle results around Leningrad, there's some speculation in the comments of this is the last gasp of Army Group North, or this is the beginning of a incredible breakout by the Germans to take Leningrad and to get resupplied. Being the pessimist that I am, I've been thinking that they were trying to break through and take Leningrad. I've always hoped that they would never have the strength to do it, and I think they probably they don't stand a shot now. But in the last couple of turns, they've pressed pretty strongly here against the line. Here they threw 30,000 men at the problem, didn't have any success. Over here they attacked twice, first with 40,000 men, so I mean it's not like they weren't trying. And then again with 40,000 men a second time, and I mean they lost 20 armor in this battle. In kind of this last-ditch effort. But it wasn't any of the Tigers or the Panthers that we're seeing in other parts of the front where they have panzer divisions that are much more well-supplied than what they have in Army Group North. Where they actually broke through was right here in this little corner section, where they attacked with 36,000 men, and really just kind of overwhelmed us and the position that we had dug in at. So that's where they had success. And then they also tried unsuccessfully over here with 20,000 men to attack, and they failed there. So all in all, they managed to break through, but it just wasn't enough, and I think it was probably a couple of turns too late as well. Had they accomplished this, say 4 turns ago, just making this up, it might be a little bit of a different story, right? If they had managed to actually break through and circle Leningrad again and maybe put some pressure on us, maybe we would have been caught wrong-footed, as we had deployed so many of our resources, if you remember, from this northern defense of Leningrad down to the south to try to sweep below Army Group North. So our gambit paid off, but only just barely, it would seem. So what I'm going to do is use the surrounding hexes that we have here, and actually go ahead and counterattack. So I'm hoping I can just in one quick attack knock them out of this hex. And then what I'll do is I'll bring in some units to defend this hex again, just as we had it, because it looks like now they're scrambling to see can they withdraw and hold out as long as possible. They're probably going to make a dash towards Tallinn, where they have a port for resupply, because they know if we cut them off at the Narva River, there's no source of resupply other than air resupply, which would never feed this many units. So we're going to really start putting the pressure on to collapse this pocket as quickly as we can. So first, let's see if we can't take back that hex. We should have sufficient enough odds here. Yep, they retreated. And then what we're going to do is in Leningrad proper, we actually had this infantry division on reserve trying to help out this front line. We're going to bring them up. And then I think we'll take... Well, these guys are actually unready. And yeah, no, I remember this. I'm not going to set them to refit because I don't want this unit having priority. I need the units in the south of our campaign to have resupply priority for new men and new equipment coming in. So we're going to leave them on unready. And maybe what we can do, though, is say, let's split kind of our defenses in this hex and take one of these rifle divisions up here. I think that'll work. So that gets us up to 7. Should be enough to defend against what they have. If they attack again, that's fine. Not too worried about that. Here we can take you off reserve. Okay. And then through here, we're going to actually start pushing forward. It's like I want to take this entire stack of units and move them all the way up here. And I think we'll do the same here. So that gets us up to 26, 36. That's good. Let's move them up. Only going to take them to there. Move these guys over here. That's going to be the most vulnerable point. But I don't think they're going to attack in our rear. Because they would just be digging themselves deeper into enemy territory. But now we've isolated this unit. That's good. Over here we'll start to advance. Let's see. Yeah, I want to put more pressure this way, so let's just have you go here for now. This unit will bring all the way up. Go here. You can go up there. I guess, yeah, heck, let's bring them up. That'll be okay. Okay, there's that. Take you there. Can't get nearly as far up as I would like, but that's okay. There we go. And we continue pressing. Keep taking all of these units as far north as we can. Now we're going to start to cut off the river here. There we go. Let's see. Take you over here, I think. Come up there. I want you to get actually a little closer to your army, so you can go that direction. Okay. So next turn we should be able to have them cut off unless they really manage to dig in there, which is a possibility, but I think we could break through with the vast number of forces that we're bringing to bear. And now their opportunity to get all of these units through just isn't going to happen, frankly. I'm going to move this guy one more forward because we managed to encircle them here. So this would be the one point in the line where we don't have anyone, but that should be alright. Could maybe... Yeah, none of you are going to have enough movement points to come down. Okay, that's fine. That's going to be fine. I don't think they're going to try to break through and do some great escape behind all of our lines here, so we'll be okay. We'll just now keep moving up as many of these forces as we can, because really this is the crux of it all. This is where we're going to apply the pressure and really close in the pocket. First, got to get the troops north. Start bringing up the HQ units. Let's see, you can... Yeah, we'll keep you with your army. That's fine. There we go. Over here, move that HQ up. Move there, out of... There we go. That's better. You're fine. Okay. Now we look down here. So what I'm going to do is this, is I'm going to take the armies that we have here and move them as far north as I can. And what I want to try to do is I actually want to try and see if I can't use the forces at my disposal here to take this entire peninsula, except the 4th Guards Army. I want to see if I can work this so that the 4th Guards Army isn't needed in this push towards Tallinn, and that I can instead use them to reinforce our drive towards Königsberg as kind of a reserve army. So we're going to try to manipulate this in a way that allows us to really spread out these 3 armies across the entire peninsula here. Now, this unit actually is isolated, so we're going to go ahead and attack it. And we're going to take these 2 units here to do that. So that's 18 to 7. So they retreated. That's good. And then we'll take that rifle division. We're going to attack again. They retreat it one more time. Okay. We'll attack one more time. Now they surrendered. Okay. So I focused all my attacks with this one group that I had, so that way we're not wasting the movement of all of our other units here. And now we're just going to push as far north as quickly as we can here. Also in a bit of an attempt to scout out the enemy units and understand, you know, just... Can we get that 4th Guards Army to help the push towards Königsberg? It's really kind of the desire here. So take these units north. They're obviously exhausted. Yeah, I think I'm going to be able to make this work looking at this here. So they can go on the other side of the lake now. Yeah, I can make this work. Let's see, where do I want this guy to rush over here to this port and airbase. Maybe... Can I get crazy enough to go over here, you think? Yeah, let's do that. Ooh, just didn't quite have enough to capture the airbase. That's okay, though. Back here now, you go north. This element we need to get back kind of to its army. Then we have the 1st Shock Army. And the 1st Shock Army we should be able to use to fill in the rest of the gap here. So this is going to work out just fine. Take them there. This is just wonderful. Take that rifle corps. Take the rifle corps kind of in the center of our advance. This 1st Shock Army unit can come up here. Alright, and then this is what we're going to use to vote it towards the push north. We have a couple of units that are part of the same army, so we might as well also have them advance in lockstep kind of, so that's fine. And I'll take the relative HQs forward here. Also got that guy. You're going to play catch up, but you focused on a good cause. 43rd Army looks like it's down south. 4th Shock Army we can move, or 4th Guards Army we can move south. This is excellent stuff. This is really coming together. So this is going to be enough to push on to Lynn. And anything that escapes through and across the Narva River before we cut it off, we should be able to, at the very least, contain them with these forces. And really, ultimately, what we want to do as well is make sure that if they cross the Narva, we can at least prevent them from making it all the way to Tallinn. Because in Tallinn, they can hold out for a couple of turns. And every turn that they hold out is one less turn that these armies are used pushing towards Germany. So that's the sense of time pressure here. Is we certainly could just sit here and wait them out, if you will. But it's to our advantage to press a little more strongly than that. I think we're actually going to double back up here. I think we're going to press up here too. Because what I want to do is try to get some zone of influences to try to slow their retreat of some of these units here. So I'm actually going to take, let's see, I'm going to take this rifle corps. I'm going to move them here. And that's rough terrain. And I mean, that's 61 defensive value. They're going to have a heck of a hard time pushing through that. And then over here, we're going to take this rifle corps. We're going to do kind of the same thing and move them over here. So then anything pressing through here is going to have to go through that unit. And let's see if we can't get a little greedy and push whatever this is back. Ooh. Okay, no, that's not going to be successful. Bit off a bit more than we could chew there. But thankfully our commander halted way from their front line, so we didn't really suffer any losses. So that's good news. And then I think we'll take a rifle division over here, bring them up. Yeah, I like how that's looking. Good, good, good. Can I take these guys? Ooh, just can't quite make it there. That's alright though. Anything back here with more movement points? 16 still not enough. Alright, fair enough. Understood. Yeah, but that's really going to slow them down as they try to retreat here. Do I want to move up at all here? I don't think so. I don't think I can reach that hex, that heavy woods. But they've got some pretty strong units here to counterattack, and I don't think it'd be as defensible as these rough terrains are here. Actually, I might do even one more rifle division here. Yeah, there we go. They might have been able to break through that. Again, if they do, it's not some type of huge strategic victory. It's a little bit of an inconvenience, though, and we lose men that we don't otherwise want to lose. That's the reason for it. Okay. This is good stuff. Over here, can I swing anything around? Don't think so. Don't think so. Okay. So I'm satisfied then with all of that effort to cut off Army Group North and just... That is a beautiful sight as the Soviet player. Now down here, what we want to think about is, okay, what are our tactics here? Now, seeing units suddenly already appear kind of to our west here might seem alarming, but if you really take a look at them, right, they're not even full infantry divisions, and they're probably pretty gosh darn depleted. And it's not like they're going to put up a huge fight, because they don't want to be encircled again up here. They are very fearful right now of being encircled. So what we want to do is probably take a lot of our forces and try to drive south here to try to break through and to force any units they have up here to sit here and think, so I either have to run or I have to end up being surrounded and cut off from the rest of my army. That's kind of the position we want to put them in. So with that in mind, I think what we look to do is we see, okay, so elements of the 4th Guards Army can come in here and actually fill in for a lot of these tank units that we have here. So what we should do then is to take these tank units forward to try to push through. Or at the very least prepare to push through, I'll put it that way. Right. So now you look at this and you go, okay, well yeah, let's attack here. Right, so that retreated them. Here we can attack. Okay, it's actually held there. Take this guy forward and attack. That retreated them. Good. Right, we're forcing them into deciding how long do they want to stay there. And down here, we'll take this unit right about there, I think. This mechanized unit comes there. Good. Push forward with this guy, push forward a little here. And then we have this mechanized core, which we're going to bring down. Yeah, where do I want to... Gotta bring them all the way down here. I think I say, yeah, let's attack. No, we're not going to. Yeah, fatigue's pretty high on these units. Really high on these units. So we do have to be a little careful here. Okay. Take that HQ unit south. Bring that one down too. You belong over here. Yeah, now we take... And actually, you know, like the 4th Guards Army can come even all the way up here. So maybe what I do is I say, okay, our rearmost units, right? Let's have them advance here. See how far I can get them south. Yeah, this is excellent. Bringing them all the way to the front line here. Again, to try to pressure this cutoff behind their lines. That's some good stuff. Bring you down here. Right, and we do want to try to encircle, right? So we want them to think, hey, are they going to lose the 12th Panzer Division here? I actually want to go back just a moment, if you guys don't mind. Let's look, because I remember they had some counterattacks against us. I just can't remember the details. So let's take a look here. It looks like they pushed us back maybe twice. Here they attacked with 3 infantry divisions, or 2.5, if you will, against our tank corps. We lost 46 tanks. That's not great. Then over here, Looks like they followed up the same attack. We lost another 22 tanks. Okay, so just that one guy had advanced a little bit too much, or too close to those supporting units, it looks like. Alright. So let's see now what we have here in the 43rd Army to try to get around them. So we can bring this guy down here. Bring him down here. Right, really trying to stack behind them. We're not going to be able to attack the strengths. We used all of our movement points just even to get up here. But now let's look with the 4th Army and say, okay, how can you cut them off? Right, that's the question. I think like if we take this infantry division up here, do we attack? I think we do. Yeah, 12 to 5. Alright, so that retreated them. Excellent. So now they just have these 2 hexes left here. Bring up that mechanized corps. It gets them up to 4 defensive value. So now it starts to become a real fight if they want to try to break out. I think I do have to look, though. It's starting to build out my front here. Can't get too carried away. Oh, am I kidding? Of course I can get too carried away. There we go. But I mean, this is a pretty defensible spearhead here. Right, there are 2 spots technically. Yes, they could get in behind, but there's so much support that it's not like they'd truly be able to threaten to completely encircle us. And then down here, I think we just look to see, you know, what units can we get around them, if any. Doesn't look like we have many options there. You know, I'm a little hesitant to actually attack and force their withdrawal, so I think what I'm instead going to do is just make sure that I'm positioning units that kind of put them in this zone of control that significantly reduce then their movement points, their ability to retreat. It's kind of what we're going for here. I'd like to get one more here. Bring you around now. Because zone of control that the Panzer Division's exerting. That's fine. And bring you up here. Okay. Let's take that brigade down here. Yeah, and I think we'll take this rifle division. And their supplies are so low that I don't want them to get too far forward. I suppose we're just going to go right there. Look at this entire rifle corps is just sitting in the wings ready to go. What army are you part of? You're part of the... Oh. Well, let's change that. So I'm going to have you come down here and see if we can't just get you in a new army real quick. So we could fit you into the 2nd Shock Army. 4th Army you'd put over capacity. So let's do the 2nd Shock Army. And then let's attack. Look at that. It's amazing what you can do when you just have rifle corps laying around ready to be used. So spoiled compared to the other games I'm currently involved in. Specifically the 41 scenario. Yeah, I think we'll just take you south. Get you caught up to everyone is really kind of the thought with you. Bring down some of these HQ units. Those are fronts, so they're all fine. We can do rail repair here real quick. Let's do that. Rail repair is so important. I think I'm going to bring you south here. Repair from this direction to get this line working. And then looks like we have a double-sided one here. Should be pretty important to get to. So what we'll do is we'll do that. And this guy is going to keep going to Riga. It's going to go into Riga. There we go. Good stuff. You can then go south. There we go. There we go. I think we'll have you come north, so the next turn you can build north and connect back to some of our more national supply lines. Whereas you can kind of advance with these armies and repair as we progress, I think is the logic we'll use there. Up here we have elements of the 43rd Army that just need to kind of get caught up. So that's fine, they're coming along there. I missed you. How did I miss you? Let's bring you forward there. Okay. Wow. So I mean, this is we're 30 minutes in, and we've just gotten south of Riga. We have advanced so much that it's taken so much long. I mean, normally by this point we'd be like past Smolensk and stuff in our video, but there is just so much to do, and I love zooming out because I am just so happy at seeing that. Like, just I think about how many episodes we sat there and we talked about keep to the plan, strategic plan, get to Riga, push to Riga at all costs, and look how well that worked. That really, really worked well. Again, it came at some cost. For example, in the south, we haven't recaptured Kursk yet, which is way behind schedule, but it's really had some benefits, though, by allocating strategically our resources towards Riga. Getting back caught up to where we were on the front line is like this entire section here. I think we're just going to hold, right? Because what we want to do is keep having kind of these intermittent, okay, hold, spearhead, push through, hold, spearhead, push through, which is like we're going to try to do right here. We need to kind of keep repeating that pattern. So then where they are strong, we just try to encircle them, right? Because we're looking at this threat that we're posing to the 12th Panzer Division and these infantry elements, but equally, these guys have to be thinking about the same question now: is can our units here swing west, or yeah, that's west, sorry. Can they swing west to start cutting these guys off? And I'm getting crazy thoughts in my head of, well, do I maybe take this mechanized corps and push them? See, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? What could we provide in terms of support over here if we did that? Okay, let's get crazy. What happens if we bring that tank corps up here? Nothing good happens if we bring that tank corps up there. Nothing good. So let's do this. Bring that rifle division there. And we're going to take this 6 mechanized corps. We're going to bring them up here to reinforce that tank division. Then we can bring down this rifle division to take its spot. Take these 2 units. Ooh, do I push through? We're gonna push through. Getting aggressive here, but we're gonna push. Yeah. Then we take this rifle division, we come south here, so then this plugs our line, right? So we have a consistent line here that's staying connected. And then I think we take like this rifle brigade over here. So we have this gap in our line, but I would almost challenge them to push through there and then let themselves be surrounded. I mean, I'd be so okay with that. That's not a problem in my book. Yeah, okay, this is going good. So we're pushing through there. This hex is really quite vulnerable, which then would leave these units vulnerable. But I think it's really going to ask a lot of questions of them by doing this, so I'm happy with it. I'm tempted to go one more hex with the tank corps, actually. No, we're going to stay there. Can this guy connect to them?
Oh, but he can cut off this rail line, and that's tempting too. Boy, I really kind of want to take this guy and go behind their lines. It's moments like this that I really wish I could, like, hear your feedback. Right? Do it. Do it. Or, that's a horrible idea. We're gonna do it. We're gonna just push. We are now behind them. We have cut off these hexes. Yeah, I'm glad we did that. I'm glad we did that. Okay. There's nothing immediately there that can counterattack them. They can very much cut us off, but with this breakthrough, I'm hoping we can rescue him, if that's the best term to be using. I think rescue is. Yeah. 93 fatigue. Oof, that's not good. That might entirely negate all of the defensive bonus we have by being in heavy woods there. There's nothing over here we can bring to get there in time. Okay. Well, that will be what it is. Let's take this artillery unit south here so they can be on reserve and help. We'll set this brigade to reserve. Then I'm going to set this rifle division to reserve. And then hopefully they can help out with any attack there. Let's also see what can we attach in terms of support group. You already have 3 things attached, but maybe you don't need 2 of the anti-tanks. So let's get rid of one of the anti-tanks and see what's available to us. So there are these tank battalions. Let's add a tank battalion to them instead. And then this motorized unit should, yeah, we can't attach anything to that. Down here, this is the 5th Army. This mechanized corps already has quite a bit attached to it, but this tank corps does not. We don't have any support units of any qualified size and replacement to go there. I could bring you down here. Let's do that. Yeah, that brings me up to 6 there. And then all I have to do is shuffle over one of these rifle divisions. That was a smart move, if I do say so myself. Wondering too if I even... yeah, we'll leave that. That's fine. Down here we're going to advance these guys. You are on refit. That's fine. You can stay on refit. But you're in a ready status. We're going to... Ooh, okay, so I was probably watching out for the 102nd Infantry, because that's a pretty strong force we got down there. So what if we said the Rifle Division goes forward, the Rifle Corps comes over here, which actually gets them closer to the 41st Army anyways. This Mechanized Corps also comes down. This Rifle Brigade does. Actually, maybe we bring the Rifle Brigade over here. Yeah, let's do that. And then we're going to take these 2 to attack behind them. Right, again, try to threaten them a little. Good. Got them out of their position. Excellent. That's good stuff. Here, we could move these units into this hex. Let's do it. And then what I want to do is take all of these units and attack here against this Luftwaffe division. There we go. Okay, I think that works well. That's only light wood, so I don't know if I want to move these guys forward. Yeah, let's move them forward. Let's do it. Yep. Over here, I can take this Mechanized Corps. I can actually bring them here. So we're going to bring the Mechanized Corps around. So that gets us up to 12, which is plenty to defend off against the 102nd Infantry Division. And then in the next turn or two, we can just really kind of bypass their defensive position that they find themselves in, because so much of that value is coming from the swamp territory that they're in. So we'll just go around them. I think that works best. Up here, we continue. This is becoming more and more problematic the longer these guys hold out. So let's do this maybe. Let's look and see if there's any... No, you know what we're going to do is we're going to go to our reserves. We're going to go down. We're going to look at what do we have in terms of like rocket units and stuff that we can actually assign and bring in. So we're going to put all these guys to the map. And we're just going to bombard them with rockets, and then we'll also bring in some artillery. And that'll be how we'll try to break through them. And maybe we don't even attack this turn. Maybe we just wait a couple turns to let them build up their combat prep and such. I think that might work well. Okay, so we've done some of those. And then let's go up here to the artillery. Heavy gun regiment sounds pretty awesome. So does artillery corps battalion. So that's 15 guns though compared to 24. So I think we do the one with the 24. What do they have? 152 millimeter howitzers. That seems pretty potent. Let's bring them to the map. Alright, yeah. And then we can use them to try to help out with that siege. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take one unit off of each hex and take it kind of back where we have more than one unit. So that way they can build up combat prep and lower lower fatigue. Sorry, got my words there. Yeah, so we'll let them get a couple turns to increase combat value. I'll try to do it in a sudden wave instead of this every turn just attacking and not really chipping away at them. Because if you attack and you can't get close enough to their line, you never really end up damaging the fortification level or anything. And that's really the key, is you want to have one assault that even if you don't break through, it's enough to lower the fortification level, because they won't be able to get back up to a 3 before we can end up taking the city again. I mean, it might take them a month to get back to a 3 if we get them down to a 2. And once they're at a 2, again, it becomes easier to advance closer to their line, thus damaging their fortification levels that they have, right? If you can knock out their machine gun boxes and some of their foxholes and trenches that they've built along that line, or damaged them severely enough, it's then something that they can't use for future defenses until they rebuild them. So let's give that a turn or two. We'll bring in, like you saw, some of those rocket and artillery units. We'll start moving over. Like we can even take like this artillery division, right, and bring them over in the next couple turns. Start using them there. Need to set them to reserve, by the way. There we go. Where we left off was down here. And I don't know what's in this hex, so I'm kind of hesitant to move forward this tank corps. I kind of like leaving them in reserve in case they do try to counterattack anywhere on the line. Overall, I'm actually pretty happy about this entire front here. There are these two hexes we could try to push against just to keep them busy. These Luftwaffe field divisions. And you know, let's do that, actually. Let's attack them. So we'll go here. So obviously they were retreated. Do the same thing here. Good. So now, like, if we move up here, it's a pretty good position that we found ourselves in suddenly. This rifle division. Let's do this. We'll bring this rifle division down here. And we'll take... Heck, actually, let's just take this entire stack forward. And can we push here? Yeah, I thought so. It's just a Jaeger division. Yeah, push here too. Let's just start pushing them back here. And then we can kind of dictate what we want the line to be. Okay, so here though they had... Oh no, that were our units that were coming in, sorry. Misread those messages. So that's good. So we've really pushed them back there quite a bit. Now we can come up here, and we can get some more units to start attacking this hex, or just, again, which is usually the better practice, just start bypassing it. But seeing this beast of a stack we have, let's just assault this hex. Yeah, 100,000 men. Of course they lost. We also got the depot there. That's just all good news. All good news. Keep pressing the attack, though. So there are some Jaeger divisions that are helping them out, but it wasn't enough. Let's take one of these rifle corps forward. You can attack here. Yeah, so now we're making some progress. Ooh, they were on refit. I didn't catch that. You don't need to be on refit. You can come down here. Let's hit this HQ, and I bet you there's also a depot there. But the Panzer Grenadier Division is somewhere back here, I bet, and that's why they managed to hold on. Okay, but now we know where it is, which is very useful. So we can take up this tank corps. Let's... we don't have enough to attack again. How can I get another attack in? I'm getting greedy now. Okay, well let's refocus a little here. Let's start moving south again. Push here. So they managed to hold. Let's do it again. They retreat it. Move forward here, we can. Let's take these two, attack. Ah, they held. There's an actual infantry division there, that wasn't a Jaeger division, so that makes sense. You can come down there. Kinda want to just push forward with you. Yes, then we got another depot by being a little aggressive there. So that's good. And then we can take this reserve tank corps and maybe bring them down here to help them out. Yeah, so they're not going to be able to break through that unless they bring in like the infantry division to attack or something like that. But now we're going to start giving them a lot of headache because as we break through here, we can try to sweep in towards Minsk. Right, so they've got quite the bottleneck with the 13th Panzer Division blocking our direct route. But I think we can probably start to go around them a little bit. And over here, I'm actually going to take this Guards Rifle Division and attack. Oh, okay, so the 10th Panzer Grenadier, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. So they held. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I need to really bring up some of these HQs now that we've had some of these advances. So you can come up here. We're really getting stretched in that section. Okay, so there's that. Now when we keep looking a little bit to the west here, and I think this is all good. Not really worried about them trying to come through there or anything. They've used their movement points, that's fine. Yeah, the Rifle Corps maybe keep pushing these guys back. Yeah, let's do it. Yep. We have the initiative, we have the advantage here. Let's keep pressing it while we have it. Don't let them dig in or get to ground that is more defensible, etc., etc. Over here, this tank corps. So that's where the 4th SS Panzer Grenadier Division is. So I think the question then Do I want to solve for this, or do I just leave this like this? I might just leave it like this. I might take like that mechanized unit, move them here, and we just kind of have this defensive line, just like we've been maintaining. I think I do that and I just go around them all. Down here, I can push through this hex easily enough. Yes, that just routed them, which makes sense. I can come down here and now I can attack. Now they might, that 4th SS Panzer Grenadier Division might interfere here, but we're going to take the chance. Yeah, glad we did. Yeah, so now they're looking at it and they're starting to have a lot of holes in their line. One thing that I missed, though, is we're really kind of open here now. So let's take this tank corps and move them over here. Yeah, because I certainly don't think they're going to try to break through there, but now we've at least got a little bit more. It's going to be a lot of zone of control issues and movement points if they try to break through there, especially with an infantry unit. Further to the west, I think we keep pushing here. Trying to think if I have these guys get involved, and I'm actually going to do the attack from this hex. And they managed to hold because they had those infantry units join. But now we can take from both and attack. Same thing, but it wasn't enough. So we pushed through. Now I can bring that unit forward. And then up here we're going to try to break through. We were successful. Let's bring this rifle division up to that swamp hex because that's very defensible terrain. If I can push back this one unit, it really lets us build a front. So, or do I go behind them? That might be the better play. But then we get closer to that Panzer division. No, we're just going to go kind of direct here. Yes, that pushes them back. Come down here now. Okay, good stuff. This HQ unit, we need to move forward. That HQ unit. Oh, how did you get so split? This is a mess. I'm gonna do one more here. Just because I do want them to have a little bit more. Yeah, heck, I might as well bring them here. And then let's instead see if I can't reassign these from the 22nd Army to something else. Yeah, it's like you can go to the 4th Shock Army. That's fine. For here, same thing. Let's try to reassign you. Gets a little tougher. 50th Army's quite a ways away. So I don't really see an option there. Okay, so that will continue to be a bit of a problem, but it's nothing too awful, I guess. Looking over here, we're really just kind of hold because of that 23rd Panzer Division. Just fine. You're on reserve. Got some units on refit back here. I'm going to give him another turn. This is the Western Front. The HQs are still pretty in line, but I'm going to move him up to Smolensk now. Okay. Could attack here. I don't think I gain anything, and I'm pretty sure that some of these guys are on reserve and we wouldn't actually break through. So let's just hold. Yeah, let's hold there. In and around our Yole. You're both on refit, but I don't think you probably need to be still. Yeah, you can probably come off. That rifle division can come off. But now we can sit here and we can go, okay, where can we put these guys to have the most value in breaking through? Like that cavalry unit, I'm going to bring them over here. I'm going to bring down this rifle division. And you see now the math changes, and now we're going to try to break through there. Okay, so they did have the 16th Panzer Grenadier Division committed. And looks like they held. Okay, but they lost their fortification level. We took heavy losses. But let's see if we can't go again. Yeah, that time with their retreat, because they didn't even have any fortification levels, so that makes sense. Good. That then makes future advances easier because they don't have 2 layers of forts, not forts, but fortification levels for us to go through. I really try to be particular about saying the word fort versus fortification level because they are 2 different things in this game. We're going to take you off refit and just leave you on reserve. Back here, 61st Army, there's really not any reason for you not to move forward. Okay, now around our Yule, let's see, right, how do we want to break out? So we can move, yeah, so we can go west here and maybe put some pressure on these guys. But I also don't want to stretch our lines and then weaken the threat that we pose to Kursk. So I'm actually going to use this as a good stopping point right around our Yule and say, okay, let's address some of that in the next episode. We're right at about the hour mark. Things are going quite well. Again, just a reminder, we've got the War in the West series out there. Really pumped and excited to have that that new game added to the channel and having a lot of fun with it too. I've always enjoyed all Gary Grigsby's games, but I'm just this year in a complete drill mode of learning as many of them as I can, as much as I can about them, and I've been having a blast doing it with you guys. So please check that out if you're interested. It's good to get another regularly published one to the channel too. So that'll be on Fridays. This will keep coming out on Saturdays. And then the 1941 scenario will be Sunday. So that'll be kind of our weekend lineup for you guys to chow down on. If you got any questions, comments, or feedback, please, as always, leave them in there. I have gone through and actually caught up on some of the comments. There's still some that I need to get to, but I have gone through and I've started to try to get caught up. So I am way behind. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I'm starting to get a little caught up. And yeah, thanks for your continued support of I always say this, the channel, but the game too. This is such a fantastic game. These developers deserve some praise for this. I'm going to use the word masterpiece they've created because it is so unique, it is so niche, but it is just so valuable to those of us that like this genre. It would really be a shame if games like these Gary Grigsby ones didn't exist for the genre. It really would be unfortunate. So thank you for your support of their games. And as always, strategy gamers, hoping you have yourselves an excellent day. Bye now.